Hey, let's get right into it. Happy Monday. We got a lot to talk about. Like a lot. This week, you guys need to turn on your post notifications because we have a lot to talk about. Hey, y'all. Come on in here and comment the word faith as you are coming in. Thank you, Reese. Come on in here, and as you are coming in, comment the word faith, okay? I know it's a little later than usual. I know I'm normally on here earlier today, but I fell asleep. I took a big nap because what I'm noticing is like I'm just more tired. I'm just more tired lately. And I just fell asleep. I sat down to just sit down. And all of a sudden, I was asleep for like an hour and a half. What happened? I woke up like, what? My husband woke me up actually. He was like, what's going on with you? So, but we still gonna get the message out no matter what time it is. Yes, comment faith, comment faith, comment faith. So what I really wanted to talk to you guys about, there's a lot of things going on right now in the world. There's a lot of things going on, y'all. There's a lot of things going on. But last week, I don't remember if it was a video or something that I read that said, you know, you keep praying to God, right? You keep asking God for what you want. But because you keep changing what you're asking for, God is like, which one is it, right? We're praying for what we want, but then we're changing what we're praying for based on what we believe is actually possible. And so what I really thought about is we often change our expectation. We change what we ask for. We change what we believe we can have based on the current situation that we're in. But here's the thing. Faith, right? Faith is the evidence of things that are unseen. Real faith, having faith means believing that even if you cannot see it, even if it doesn't seem to make sense that you would be able to grow your business to 6 figures, even if it doesn't seem to be able to make sense that somehow you would get the money you need to pay your bills, even if it doesn't seem to be able to make sense that you would, things would align for you to be able to get that house or get that car or get that job or whatever the case is, faith is the evidence of things that are unseen. So we have to understand that changing our expectation or changing our prayer simply based on whatever circumstance we're in is doing ourselves a disservice, because remember, we are not asking for things based on what we can do, based on what is possible for us, because we cannot do anything. We are asking for things based on what is possible for God, right? And God can do everything. Like, we are limiting ourselves because you are probably wanting something but saying, well, how is that going to happen? It's not possible. How would this possibly come to fruition? And whole time God is like, but whose how? Your how or my how? Because you don't know how the money would end up in your account, but I know how the money would end up in your account. You don't know how you could possibly become, a 7-figure earner in 12 months, but I know how you could possibly become a 7-figure earner in 12 months. You see what I'm saying? And so I was really thinking like, wow, that's so true. So much of the time, we're not praying big enough. We're not hoping big enough. We're not asking big enough because we're thinking, well, my current circumstance doesn't look like it's possible. My current circumstance, it doesn't make sense for this money to end up coming my way. But thankfully, thank God, God is the one who has the ability to pull you out of your circumstance within 24 hours or less. God is the only one who you could literally blink and all of a sudden life looks different. But the only thing he's waiting for is your faith. And you know what? I love this because we need to not only stand on business, but we need to stand 10 toes down on our faith. I want y'all to comment 10 toes down. Comment 10 toes down if y'all really picking it up. Because I've been seeing people, you know, stand on business, 10 toes down. And I love that. But we need to add something to that. We need to stand 10 toes down on our faith. We need to stand 10 toes down knowing that just because it looks impossible to our eyes, right, our human eyes, doesn't mean that it's impossible to God. It's definitely, nothing is impossible to God. You know what I'm saying? We need to be 10 toes down on our faith. You got to be 10 toes down on what you are praying for. You got to be 10 toes down on your belief in yourself. Not just 10 toes down, you know, standing on business. This is my year, you know, standards high, not about to accept less from these men. All the other things we stand 10 toes down on, that's all fine and well. But let's also make sure that we're standing 10 toes down on this faith. Because here's what will happen, right? You will decide that you want more for your life. Whether that's a better job, a better car, a better situation, you want your business, right? You will decide you want more for your life. And what will happen is different tests will come your way to make you doubt your faith. Different tests will come your way to make you doubt your faith. People in your life will start acting funny. People in your life will start telling you, I don't think it's going to work. Monitoring spirits, people around you who you might have thought were friends or you might have thought were associates, but who are really just monitoring spirits, will start asking you more questions about, well, how are you going to do it? What is your intention? What's your first step? Are you sure you could do this? How are you going to make it happen? You know, sowing doubt into your plans. That's going to happen. But you need to stand 10 toes down on that faith. And the next time somebody asks you, well, how are you going to do it? Are you sure it's possible? You're going to say, oh, well, the how is God. That's how I'm going to grow this business, God. I'm sure it's going to work because God created the earth in 6 days and 6 nights. So that's my business plan. That's how we're going to make sure this business happens. Yeah, that's a great question. I know it's going to work because God. That's it. You don't have to explain anything, because here's the thing about monitoring spirits, right? People who just want to know what's going on with you. I want you guys to think back to any times or examples where, you know, you've shared your plans. So here's the thing, right? A lot of our intuition as Black people comes from Proverbs in West Africa, because this is where we all came from, right? So here in Senegal, West Africa, here people don't talk about what they finna do because of something called chat. We call it chat, and it's spelled C-H-A-T, like the word chat, but it's called chat. And so, you know, my husband's telling me all the time, you know, we don't talk about anything until it's done, because not every listening ear is positive. Not every listening ear actually wants you to achieve whatever it is that you're saying you want to achieve. And so us as a community, right, even Black people in America, we all have that same feeling, right? This has probably happened to you where a friend, a family member, a cousin, a colleague, whatever, has asked you, oh, so tell me more about that. What are you going to do next? How are you going to do it? What do you think about this? Are you sure? Do you think it's possible? Oh, what's next for you? Oh, wow. What are you planning in the next couple months? all these different questions, and you unknowingly are going to share, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm planning on this, and then all of a sudden, do those plans fumble? Comment yes or no in the chat if this has happened to you. All of a sudden, the trip gets canceled. All of a sudden, you've been building up your savings account and you talk about it with someone. Yeah, I'm saving money. I want to get my first whatever. All of a sudden, your card breaks down. You can't use that money, right? All of a sudden, you got sick, God forbid. All of a sudden, your relationship starts having troubles. And you have to realize that every single one of us have power, okay? And what I mean by power is every single one of us have the ability to put our energy towards a positive manifestation or put our energy towards a negative manifestation. We all have that same power. And so what you have to realize, and why you have to stand 10 toes down on your faith, is that someone who's listening to you, this monitoring spirit, can absolutely put their power to manifest negatively in your life. They can go home and sit and think about and ruminate over your plans. Why does she think she can get that house? Why does she think she can start that business? Why does she think she can have that relationship? Why does she think she can do this? And all of those thoughts, all of those things that they're saying, all those emotions that they're feeling about your plan will trickle over to you and F shit up. Excuse my language, but you guys know what I'm saying. Will trickle over to you and just mess it all up, right? And this is why we have to stand 10 toes down on our faith. And this is why I tell you guys as well, not everything has to be shared and discussed. It doesn't mean you have to be a secretive person, but it does mean you have to be a selective person. I want y'all to comment the word selective. It does mean you have to be a selective person. I am not the type of person to lie or keep secrets, but I definitely know how to give an answer that is just enough. So you don't really know if I'm going left, right, forward, diagonal, sideways, around the corner. You don't know where to find me because you don't know where I'm going until I already got there. And then there's nothing you can do. You just have to be selective. The only person who truly needs to know your plans is God. And a good person that you really trust, like your mom, your dad, your coach, whatever the case is. But outside of that, your intuition is our gift from God that tells you, hey, I only need you to stand 10 toes down on your faith. I don't need you to convince everybody else that your idea is a good idea. A lot of the time when we're telling other people what we want to do is because we're seeking validation. You're talking about what you want to do because you're excited about it and you want someone else to say that's a good idea. But remember this, not everyone is going to be happy for you the way that God is going to be happy for you. Not everyone is going to want to pour into you the way that God is going to pour into you. So the only person you've got to be comfortable with seeking validation from is God. Or someone who you know God has sent in your life who is on the same page as you, like a spouse, like a parent, like a sister, right? And you know who those people are. But sometimes because we are not 10 toes down on our faith, we are instead looking for the validation to replace the faith because we're too afraid to just say, I believe in this, even though it doesn't make sense. I'm going to lean on God and not lean on anybody else's understanding. Because even if that coworker says, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea, you don't know what they're actually thinking. Even if such and such says, okay, yeah, girl, that's awesome. You're saving money. Go buy that house. Yes, girl, yes. Yeah. Even if they're saying that, you don't know what they're actually harboring in here. The only person whose intentions are pure is not even a person, is God. That's the only one. That is the only pure intention is God. And you know that whatever works out is because God said yes, and whatever doesn't work out also is because God said yes. We have to get comfortable and confident with making God our sole supply and demand. Because you know what's interesting right now? There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. I just read an article that the Minority Business Development Agency, you know I talk to you guys about funding all the time. The minority business development agencies all over the US who exist to provide minority business funding to minority businesses has been ruled unconstitutional. AKA, they want to shut down every single minority business development agency. Meaning that us, minority business owners, right, Black-owned businesses, Black women-owned businesses, they want to shut down every single entity in every single state. And it's not even shut it down necessarily, but what they're saying is you cannot give based on minority, you have to give to white people too. Is quite literally what the lawsuit stated. These 3 white-owned businesses were mad that they couldn't get funding from the minority-owned business development agency and said this is unconstitutional, and the Supreme Court ruled in their favor that the minority-owned business cannot make lending decisions based on being a minority business. You can be white too and still get this money. So we cannot have nothing, basically, is what I'm understanding. We cannot have nothing from these people. White folks have all the other loans. They get all the other investments. There's some funding companies that we will never even know about because you only know about it if you're in a certain room. But yet our, nice little minority business development agencies who have a fraction of the amount of money that private white companies have, we can't have that either. So when I see things like this going on, right, we were in the middle of almost a war, basically. These funding opportunities for our communities are becoming less and less. There's all these other challenges in terms of rent, food, etc. This is really the time for us to stand extra firm, 10 toes down on our faith. Because if there's anything that we can see right now, it's that nobody is coming to help you except for God. Nobody is trying to save us or help us except for ourselves and except for God. That's what times like this really make me see. Because if you can take from a population, specifically minorities, who have already been taken from for hundreds of years, 500 years of just taking from our people, just taking. And now you want to take some more? And rent is high. And groceries are expensive. And interest rates are high. And it's almost impossible to get a house. And now it's harder to start a business. So basically, this has to be our sign to really know we have to stand 10 toes down on our faith. And we also have to make sure that we don't allow what is the current circumstance to discourage us. Because yes, they're putting up all of these different blockages to make it harder. But one thing we will do is prevail. I want y'all to comment the word prevail in the chat. One thing we will do is prevail. That's one thing I know for sure. And I feel like this is all happening because we are about to enter a season where we really have to lean even more onto our faith in order to prevail. This has always happened, right? If we look historically at the history of Black people in this country, and of minorities in this country, we've always had to prevail through something. And here it is back again. So while they might think that taking away this minority opportunity, these minority grants, all these programs for us is going to make us shut down our businesses, absolutely not. If anything, we are going to stand 10 toes even further on our businesses to make sure that we stay right here. Because what other option are you giving us? This is a time where they want us to run away in fear. But little do they know that we are going to stand firm in our faith. That's, it's so intentional that it's almost like funny. It's almost like y'all didn't even try to hide the fact that you really don't want us to win. They didn't even try to hide the fact that they are truly threatened and intimidated by the potential of Black business owners and minority businesses getting access to all the things that they have had access to for hundreds of years. They're not even trying to hide the fact that they're afraid. That's what this is, right? Think about this. The business ownership, the BOI forms. What is it called? I forgot, y'all. It's been so many new things this year. The fact that they're taxing Cash App and Venmo. The fact that we have to file our BOI report, beneficial ownership form. If you don't file your beneficial ownership form, you have a fine of $500 a day. If you're using Cash App or different money exchange payments, who uses those primarily the most? The statistics show 70% of minorities use these money exchange systems. In Atlanta today, I saw an article, in order to get your refund, you have to show up in person with your ID. If you don't file this BOI form, you have to pay $500 a fine every day, up to $10,000. All of these things have been put in place to strategically catch us up. All of these have been put in place to strategically make us fall down. Because if one of us doesn't know about the BOI form, that's a $10,000 fine. If one of us doesn't know about the Cash App, that's a problem on our tax return. If one of us doesn't input the right information for our refunds, that's another problem. And they're going to be probably trying to throw people in jail. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at all of these new requirements that are coming up, and now the fact that they want to close minority business centers, minority grants are unconstitutional, it's just, we have to recognize we must be so powerful. I want y'all to comment in the chat, I am powerful, because we as a community must be so powerful if they have to keep doing all these things to get in our way. We must really be a threat. We must really be a threat. They don't want Black-owned businesses to make it to 6, 7, 8 figures. They don't want us to be able to get the money that we need. And I just find it really funny, right? I started teaching about business funding, business credit back in 2021. Almost 70,000 people have taken these classes and have gone to get funding. I am not saying it's all because of me, right? But I know that there have also been a lot of other initiatives over these last 4 years to get minority-owned businesses more money. I wouldn't be surprised if they started to look at the numbers and see, wait a minute, these businesses are getting loans. All of a sudden, these businesses know what business credit is. All of a sudden, these people got business plans. Hold up. How many people got a loan this year from the Black community? I wouldn't be surprised if, because a few extra numbers were on the data charts, that this is why this is all happening. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, because I know from what I've seen these last 4 years, as a community, we have all elevated. Since COVID, Black people have made more money. We have learned more about business. We have started the most businesses out of any other ethnic group in this country. We have not been playing. And I wouldn't be surprised if they looked at the numbers and said, oh no, this is getting too serious. They're learning too much. Oh no, can't do it. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. So all that to say, right? All that to say, you have to lean more heavily into your faith, because anyone outside of yourself and God, we don't have a guarantee that they want us to win, unfortunately. And we know that about the system. We know that about this country. We don't have a guarantee that they want us to win. The only person, right? The only person that you know guaranteed wants you to win is God. And despite all the different things that they will put in place to see us fail, God does not have that intention for you. God does not have the intention for you to fail. God does not have the intention for you to slip up and fall down. God does not have the intention for your business not to grow. So even if they decide to make it even harder for us to get funding, what are we going to do? We're going to go and get 2 times better. Okay, y'all don't want to have minority specific programs? No problem. We're going to make sure our grant proposals are 2 times better. We're going to make sure our business plans are 10 times better. We're going to make sure that our business credit is 10 times better. We're going to make sure that our businesses have 10 times more customers. Every single time y'all put a limit on us, we are going to get 10 times better to pass that limit. I want y'all to comment 10x in the chat. I want you to comment 10x in the chat, because that's the only option and solution. So whatever your circumstance looks like right now, don't change your prayer. Don't change what you're hoping for. Don't change what you are asking for just based on what it looks like right now, because it's always not going to look like what you are asking for. But that's why we have to have faith. Because again, faith is the evidence of things that are unseen. You cannot see what you are praying for, but having faith means knowing that it's coming. Your current circumstance might be terrible, dismal, car broken, bills not paid, behind on groceries, whatever the case is. That might be your current circumstance. You're actually asking for and praying for abundance. Bills always paid, auto pay, child, all the food that you would ever need, perfect car. It's not going to make sense to your mind that could be possible for you to have access to that given your current circumstance. But faith and knowing that God is the only one who can take a car that's broken and turn it into a car that's fixed, right? By providing you with what you need. Faith is the only thing that's going to actually get you to the outcome that you're looking for. And we've seen it happen so many times. I know so many of you, probably all of you in here, have had a moment where you have literally no idea how God got you out that situation. Comment me in the chat. Comment me in the chat if y'all can think back to a time where you're like, I really don't know how I'm here. Like, I don't know how God got me out that situation. I really don't know. Like, I sit and think about it, and there is no logical explanation. But that's the amazing thing, is that God is not a God of logic. God is a God of miracles. Like, there is no logical explanation as to why I'm still able to do what I'm doing. There is no logical explanation as to why you made it past that last challenge that you thought was going to break you. There is no logical explanation how you got whatever you needed in order to fix that situation for you to still be here right now. So if you can think back to a time where your circumstance did not ever lead you to believe that you would end up with the blessing you were asking for, just know that God can do it again. Just know that God can do it again. Thank y'all. Thank you, girl. Just know that God can do it again. And you know, it's so important for me to talk about God, right? I know I'm always on here talking to y'all about God. But it's so important because, you know, as entrepreneurs, business owners, some of you guys are entrepreneurs, like aspiring entrepreneurs, you want to start a business. That is a God activity. Starting a business, starting something that doesn't exist and turning it into something that exists is a God-like activity, because God is the only one that can take nothing and turn it into something. And the fact that you as a business owner are looking to turn an idea which currently just exists in your head into something physical that you can hold, the only person, right? The only person who has experience in that domain of turning nothing into something is God. So, I feel like as business owners, yes, we need strategy. Yes, we need coaching. All of that is so important. But the number one thing that you absolutely need is a relationship with God and an understanding of this gift that God has given you and this ability that God has given you to have an idea and even have the courage to turn it into something that you can physically hold in your hand. I feel like we don't think enough about the fact that, wow, having a business really means taking air, right? The idea is just air, it's just a seed, and creating it into something that will go forward and actually bring you tangible money that you can then use to support your family, to support your community, to change your situation. Huh? That's incredible. That's incredible. And it is not a responsibility to be taken lightly, right? Y'all, there's when we're not on Instagram one day, on Instagram and YouTube, because I always feel like they be listening low key, there's a lot of stuff we got to talk about. Because, when I think about the people who have mass amounts of wealth in this country, I always tell you guys, when I look at very wealthy people, I don't automatically say, oh, God has blessed them, right? Because there's two ways that you can get money, right? You can get money the God way and you can get money the other way, right? So I don't automatically say, oh, God has blessed this person, right? You have to look at people's intention. What is their relationship? How do they talk? What do they do? How are they spending their money, right? Because some people have money because they got it from the bad guy. They got it from the one who hangs out down there. We want to make sure we get our blessings from the one who's up here. You know what I'm saying? So I want y'all to know that too. We want to make sure we get our blessings from the one up here. I don't want nothing from the one down here, because he gives money too. He gives success too. He gives a celebrity status too. But I don't want that one. We want this one. Okay? We want the one up here. And sometimes the one up here, the journey to getting money the right way, success the right way, is a little slower. Sometimes you've got more trials, more tribulations. You have to go through more tests. You have to stand even more on your faith. Because the one down here can give you money real fast. Real fast. Think about people that you've seen who all of a sudden you be like, what? You used to do this now? Oh. Don't always think, and just because those people are saying, oh, thank you, God, you don't know which God they're talking about. You don't know which God they are thanking. You don't know. That is something that God helped me to realize, because I always used to think like, wow, maybe these people have done amazing things to be blessed by God in such an amazing way. And God was like, don't put me in that. Don't put me with them. That's not because of me. You don't know which God they are thanking. You don't know. So don't always assume, and don't have any feelings of envy or jealousy, towards those who appear to have more than you. Because what do we know about the one down here, right? Appearances are lies. Just because they appear to have more, you actually don't know what they had to put on the line in order to have that. So take it for what it is. See people, okay, cool. You got the Lambo, you got the this, you got to doing that. Okay, you got the billions of dollars. That's cool. Yes. Let me get back to my corner and stand 10 toes down on my faith. Because wonderful. Love that for you. Fantastic. I'm be over here though, because you just don't know. You just don't know. So I want to keep you guys encouraged, because a lot of the time what we see on social media, and even myself as a business owner, going from starting with nothing, my $1,200 stimulus check in 2020, to earning multiple seven figures, the temptation to want to go faster and have it faster and have more, it's there. It's absolutely there. And different people will show up on your path to say, oh, come on, I can show you how to get it quick. I can show you how to do this. I can show you how to do that. And you can have 20, 30 million today, right now. You can do it right now. It's real, y'all. But at what cost? At what cost? So as you are in your journey of building this business, keep your faith strong. And also have patience, right? Because I certainly could have made decisions that would have launched me to 100 million probably 2 years ago. But at what cost? At what cost? Because like I said, I only want my money, my success from my friend up here. I ain't trying to hang out with that one. I'm not trying to hang out with that one. I'm cool right here. Even if it means I'm taking my time, I'd rather take my time and keep my peace. Even if it means, we can't hang out on the same places. Love you, think you're a great person. I'll be over here. Cool, yeah, no, go ahead. Yes, do you. I'ma hang back, but I'll see you later though. I'll see you later. And that's what you have to be comfortable and confident in. That's what you have to be comfortable and confident in, because let's take it back to what we said about monitoring spirits. Let's take it back to what we said about not everyone really having the best intention for you. The only person we know has a true intention for us that is positive is God. And outside of that, doesn't mean you're not going to have friends. Doesn't mean you're not going to have relationships. Doesn't mean you're not going to meet people and have acquaintances. You're going to do all those things. But you have to make sure to keep the gifts and ideas that God has given you. Keep it close to your chest. Keep those things close to your chest. Because at the end of the day, just because you want to talk about it with other people, just because you want to feel their excitement, doesn't mean that the excitement you have is the excitement that they're going to have. And this is really such an important time for us to fully lean in, right? We have to fully lean in right now, because we can see the system is not coming to save us. The government is not coming to save us. Right now, we're choosing between the old guy and the orange guy. I don't even know. What choice is this? We're choosing between Biden and Trump. We're choosing between, the one who has really bad memory loss and the one who people keep calling a Cheeto. It's a lot right now. This is a hard time. So when your options outside of you are becoming less and less and less, that's when you know it's time to lean on me. Because whoever they elect for this next president is not coming to save us. Whoever they elect for this president is not coming to help us. We either have, an extra ripe banana or a Cheeto. What a Cheeto gonna do for us? And I'm still gonna vote. I'm still gonna vote because I'm gonna exercise my right to vote. But we have to really look at, don't put your hope on other people, because again, other people are going to look out for themselves first and look out for their people first. We have to make sure, right, a hot Cheeto. We have to make sure that we are staying focused on, what can I do for myself? How can I lean into what God has already given me and the ideas that God has given me to create a life that I want for myself? Because they're not going to be the ones who do it for us. That's why I'm here in Senegal, West Africa. And I'll probably stay out here for at least another year, because I'm like, what y'all doing for me? I'll come back to America eventually. But I'm like, if it's running a business, I can do it from anywhere that I have Wi-Fi. If it's being able to get closer to God and faith, it's much easier to do that when you're not worried about how you're going to pay bills, how you're going to cover groceries, what's going on, is it another war, all these different things that they keep you distracted with, all these different headlines they keep us distracted with, makes it very difficult for us to stay focused on the task at hand. And the task at hand is listening to the idea that God has given you and doing everything that you can to bring that to life. That's the task at hand, is for us to discover our purpose. But they keep us distracted from our purpose with all this different propaganda, with all these different headlines, with all these different tragedies, with all these different, this person versus this one, minority business funding, can't do this, file your BOI. They keep us distracted. They keep us distracted. And so this whole last year that I've been living in Africa, I honestly feel like is the most focused I have been, because I'm able to choose what comes my way. I'm able to choose what comes my way. I still am technically a U.S. citizen, right? I haven't renounced my citizenship, but because I have removed myself from the environment, it changes the ways in which I can operate with that environment. So, I'm not trying to convince all y'all to move to Africa or whatever, but I do highly recommend it. Okay? Listen, come on here for at least 6 months, 12 months. It will just completely shift everything. Knowing that we are, being intentionally distracted. Even this lawsuit to close down these minority business development agencies is to distract us, is to make us afraid, is to make us mad, is to make us feel like there's nothing out there for us, is to make us give up hope. All these things are intentional, but this is the time to stand 10 toes down. This is the time for all gas, no brakes. This is the time to really be 100% in tune and going after what it is you want to achieve, because now that you know they intentionally want to stop you, that should light a fire in you that says, I will not be stopped. I need y'all to comment that in the chat. Comment, I will not be stopped. Okay? I will not be stopped. And this is a message not only to all that's going on in the U.S., right? Shutting down these minority funding options, all like that. But this is a message that you have to say out loud, even to the monitoring spirits and people around you who don't want you to win. Even if you don't know who they are, operate with the energy of, I will not be stopped. Whether you like it or don't like what I'm doing, whether you believe in it or don't believe in what I'm doing, I will not be stopped. Because a person that has decided, you have decided that it's you and God against the world, you will not be stopped. You will not be stopped. That's what I taught my kids the other day. You know, my son was like, Mom, sometimes I feel like, shy to show my friends my personality at school because I don't know if they're going to judge me. You know, my son is just so fun-loving, like really open, just hilarious. And he's like, well, I don't know. I'm a little nervous to really show them who I am. I said, but who you are is who God made you to be. And if you're hiding that, that means you're hiding your light. You have to know that no matter what is happening in life, it's always you and God. It's always y'all two locked in. Even when mommy's not there, even when Papa Ibu's not there, it's always you and God locked in. So whatever somebody thinks about your personality or the jokes you make or whatever it is, none of that matters because that, spirit that's in you was given to you by God. And I was like, does God make mistakes? And he was like, no. I was like, no, you got to say it with your chest. Does God make mistakes? He was like, no. Y'all, the same way I'm on here talking to y'all is how I'm talking to my kids. I'm like, you guys are going to know that nothing can stop you. And that's what you guys have to know too. Nothing can stop you. You will not be stopped. As long as you make a decision that you will not be stopped. As long as you are decisive in that, you will not be stopped. And carry that energy. Because when those monitoring spirits know that they don't know your next move, they have no clue how to stop you. They have no idea, what rocks to throw in your path because they don't know which way you're going anyway. So keep your faith strong. Keep your ideas close to your chest. And continue to only seek validation from God. You don't need anybody to tell you if it's a good idea, right? You can get advice. I'm happy to talk to any of y'all. You know that, right? But even at the end of the day, you don't need me to tell you if it's a good idea. I can help you strategize, but that validation first has to come from you. Think about all the people who didn't believe in Kanye West. Think about all the people who didn't believe in anyone who's created something amazing. It was an amazing idea, but someone might have said, oh, I don't know. And they might have had positive intentions, but they just didn't see the vision the way that person saw the vision because the vision wasn't given to them.